We've been having this conversation, this debate about Medicare for All, and I did a piece last night or yesterday about Tulsi Gabbard's pull away from Medicare for All and this Medicare Choice situation and all this stuff. Now, I am not going to go back over my stance. I talked for about 45 minutes. I put out a separate video. It's on my main YouTube channel. You should go check it out. I breaks it down. I pull no punches, but I'm also not canceling anyone, but I am keeping it real. What I am is honest to the best of my ability, and I will continue to be so. So I don't need to go back over there, but what I want to do is I want you to know that before I form an opinion, before I go in, before we do broadcasts, I don't go watch other people's channels, see what other people think. I don't measure, I don't calibrate myself to other people who do commentary. It's unnecessary. But I do find it comforting, right? It's comforting when people that I admire, people that I respect, people who I know where their heart is, when they sound a whole lot or we sound similar in our opinions. I love it, right? It's a great feeling because, hey, I know who I am and I know what I believe, but it's good when people that you also respect and admire are on the same wavelength, we're in the same time zone. I want to play a clip of somebody that you may know discussing the different flavors of Medicare for All. Maybe this person has no credibility, or maybe they do, depending on who you are. I want you to check it out. Please.
Do these driving things. Okay, here I am. Oh, my God. And I have the amazing Dr. Dooley with a sister today, and we are rolling through Iowa. Waterloo, baby. And after Iowa, we're on our way to New Hampshire. Oh, yeah, we working this thing out. We doing this thing. Now, the lighting ain't good because it's behind us. But that's okay. It's overcast skies today.
A little cloudy.
But it's okay. I mean, it's a nice time.
That's okay because we're bringing the sunlight.
We're bringing the sunlight.
We're bringing the sun.
And you know what? To appreciate the sunshine, baby, you got to have a little overcast every now and then.
Yes.
So it's all right. So, Doc, we here, and primarily we're going to be talking about Medicare for All.
Medicare for All, yes.
You know a little bit about the medical. Just a little bit, being a medical doctor that you are and really giving a damn about your patients.
I give a damn. We're going to end health disparities with Bernie as president. We're going to end them.
End them. So what is it, I know that some of the candidates on the stage, or I'm trying to keep this PG, talking about Medicare Choice and Medicare for some and Medicare if you want to.
Frameworks.
Yeah,
we have a bill. We have a bill, actual bill, a detailed bill, and Medicare for All will eliminate all co-pays, all deductibles, all excess costs. You'll be able to go to the doctor, premiums, everything is eliminated.
Yes.
And for most families, it's actually going to be a tax cut.
A tax
cut.
Imagine
the average
that.
family spends about $20,000 a year on healthcare costs. That's a car. Medicare for All is not going to cost as much as a car or a down payment on a house. It is not.
No, it doesn't.
It is not.
And so all these Lord, like I said, I'm trying to keep it. All of these Democrats on the stage, right?
Only one presidential
original
candidate who has a bill, not some plan that's still in their head. That has an actual bill to enact Medicare for All, which will eliminate all excess costs when you go to the doctor.
And
nobody likes paying me.
Hallelujah.
Doc,
what?
Nobody likes
They don't want to pay you.
That's their least favorite part of the visit is whipping out their copay. So we just gonna get rid of it.
We're gonna get rid. But you know what, Doc? You hit on something that you can really enlighten people because you are a medical doctor. A lot of there's a misnomer out there somehow that Medicare for All is gonna hurt doctors. Can you talk about some of the challenges and the paperwork and all the things that you have to endure having your practice, running your practice, and serving your patients?
I appreciate so many people being concerned about my income, but it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay.
You're gonna be all right.
So when you eliminate all the excess things that we have to do as physicians, which do not have to involve with being one-on-one, taking care of the patient, all this paperwork and red tape, fighting insurance companies to approve tests.
You have to fight insurance companies?
Imaging studies.
They don't just go by what you say.
I had a patient with cancer. I needed a CAT scan.
Yes.
Because the patient had cancer. I was concerned the cancer spread. And mind you, because I'm a doctor, I kind of knew that it was a cancer that could spread.
Yeah.
I ordered the CAT scan for my patient. They said that they couldn't approve it because the patient didn't have the right kind of cancer.
What? Okay.
They told me.
WTF.
A non-doctor told me.
Somebody
that
say
my patient did not have the right kind of cancer to get a CT scan.
Y'all know I want to say, somebody text in or message WTF just straight up, all the words. Right,
so I said, you know what? This is what I said. I know how to deal with them now.
Yeah.
I said, my patient's going to get the CAT scan. We can do it the expensive way, the less expensive way, or the more expensive way. The less expensive way is you get somebody on the phone who can prove this CAT scan now, because we're getting it.
We getting
the
it.
more expensive way, and I can only do this because they have method deductible. I said the more expensive way is I'm going to tell my patient to go to the ER, and I'm going to tell them exactly what to say, so that no competent ER physician will let them leave without getting a CAT scan. I said, if I send them to the ER, they're going to get their CAT scan, but it's going to cost you a lot more money. Now, you tell me, we're going to do it the less expensive way or the more expensive way? Hold on. They got back on the phone, they approved my CAT scan, and then when I told them it was going to cost more money if they did.
So it wasn't that they weren't moved by the fact that you were trying to get some testing for your patient who had cancer. They were moved by the money.
Fact that I said, look, they're going to get it whether you like it or not, and it can be the less expensive way or the more expensive way.
You see what, sisters and brothers, the commodification of healthcare is immoral. It's just flat out wrong. It's really BS, and I ain't talking about Bernie Sanders. And it really is time now. If we know better, we need to damn do better in this country. This has been a long time coming to have Medicare for all. So all of those other folks talking about half-measured Medicare for all.
Medicare for some.
Yeah, Medicare choice. I want you to have choice. You know, we in Iowa, so we got a chance to see some of the competition's commercials. I was laughing my natural behind off at, I want to give you choice.
Right. You know what choice you're going to have with Medicare for all? You're going to have the choice of doctors. You're going to have the choice of hospital. You're going to be able to go wherever you want, to whatever doctor you want, to whatever hospital you want, and leave with no bills.
Whenever you want.
That's the choice that we're going to give you. The choice to go see anyone you want to and leave with no medical
There it is.
bills.
And the choice to live a vibrant life.
It's just wrong. I became a doctor to help people.
Yeah.
And there's so many people I can't. I want to order them treatments. Mental health. I want to get them to a counselor, a therapist, because they're overworked and underpaid. And so, of course, that's affecting their mental health, which in turn affects your physical health. But they have a deductible or $50 copay a week just to see a therapist. That's $200 a month just to get weekly therapy. And they say, Dr. Dooley, I agree. I really would like to go see a mental health therapist, but I can't afford the copay.
Can't afford to take care of my health. Now, sisters and brothers, we know our health is really our wealth. We can't do any other great thing in this world.
You should not have to be wealthy to stay healthy.
You talk about that. Lord have mercy. Listen, got the great doctor in here breaking it on down. So not about what she heard, what she thinks.
What I do every day.
Every single day. So sisters and brothers, look, you're going to go with the doctors. You're going to go with the nurses that are standing in the ready position for Medicare for All, been standing for a long time.
Nurses know.
Hey, they know. Or you going to go with some politicians that's talking about, we're going to give you, choice to die?
Choice to have a bill.
Right.
A medical bill that you can't pay. Choice to go bankrupt.
Choice to go bankrupt. Or choice to decide, as the doctor just laid out, just flat out, you can't afford to go to the doctor. That ain't no damn choice. Look, they playing with our minds.
How are you free if you can't get the health care that you need? How are you free?
You're not free without that.
You're not free.
So y'all, come on.
We will be free.
We will be free.
When will we be free? Who's president?
Senator Bernard Sanders, baby,
That's
when
right.
he becomes president. And you know, sisters and brothers, he knows that he can't do this by himself.
No, we need you.
We need you. And that's why we're fighting for a political revolution. And he is the only candidate that has been out here movement building. He know that this office of presidency doesn't rise or fall on him, but it rises and falls on us.
We going to the White House.
We going to the White House, baby.
What you going?
Wow, 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 wow. Let me see if I can get this. There we go. All right, guys, I just tried to share this on Facebook, and apparently some people got so butthurt by my content, they reported it as abusive. Yeah. Who's the snowflake now? All right, we're gonna push through, man. We're not gonna let that stop us. It's what it is. All right, so there you go. Senator Nina Turner, Dr. Dooley breaking it down, talking about Medicare for all. But I guess, I don't know, maybe they just have a vendetta against other candidates. They must just hate the other candidates. They must have ulterior motives built on hate for other candidates. That doctor just hates other candidates. It's just wrong, man. It's just wrong on so many levels that you don't think people can have their own opinion based on just how they feel based on the information. So I want to thank Senator Nina Turner and Dr. Dooley for expressing their thoughts during that Periscope live stream that they did, that Periscreen, and putting it down. Some people were saying that I wish that Dr. Dooley was my doctor. She actually cares about her patients. And I think most doctors do. Doctors fight with insurance companies because insurance companies don't want to give you coverage. They don't want to give you services. Their job is to make money. Just like private prisons. We have to end the privatization of services that touch human beings. Because when they become commodified, as Senator Nina Turner stated, the money becomes the king. He who has the money makes the rules. And that becomes the focus, the objective. Not increasing your health outcomes, but making more of a profit, Johnson. So we got to take, and when it comes to, same thing goes to criminal justice reform that we push for. Why do we push to get rid of private prisons? We push because we know that they affect policy in order to put more bodies in jail cells in order to do what? To make more money. Why do we want to push Medicare for All, one system, single payer system, limit what can be charged on the open market? Because we know profit motive comes in. That's when our best interests go out the window. And we don't need that. This is life or death for people. Life and death. So the phone number is 319-527-6212. I made myself clear the other day. I'm not going to go back over the terrain. I'm going to let you talk. This is on you. It is your job. This is your phone line, 319-527-6212. And folks, go ahead, call in. I got a couple people in the queue. And I'm just going to take calls in the order that they are in the queue. Okay, so let's see what we got. 501. 501, you live.
501.
Hey.
I can't believe I'm first in the queue tonight. Hi, Tim. It's Sean. How are you tonight?
I'm good, Sean. How you doing, man? Good to hear from you.
Thank you, sir. A little better every day. Man, I really, really wanted to call and pose as Johnson. And just call and say, hey, it's Johnson. That's as far as my sense of humor would take me this week. I couldn't follow it up with anything funny to say, so I'll just throw that out.
It's all good, man.
Hey, man. This week it's about healthcare, in my opinion. I guess what I really want to say, since it's my time to talk, is that I find it a little weird that we're now all of a sudden we got to be for Medicare for All, and that we're still having this conversation when President Obama had his opportunity, as we know. And so I don't know how to reconcile that other than to say, how are we supposed to trust the same party that was in power and had control of both houses and sold us down the river with this Affordable Care Act? And I can say firsthand, literally, that the Affordable Care Act was not that, not for me. And in my case, it was $500 a month with a $5,000 deductible that had to be met before any benefits kicked in. And after that, it was 80%. What the fuck am I going to pay that for? Should I be better off start a savings account? And so the healthcare system is still broken. I just recently had a personal experience with needing some emergency healthcare, and I got some wonderful healthcare. But we did it wrong, right? I wasn't working with a primary care. I had to go to the emergency room with something that probably could have been caught beforehand. It cost less money. And so I'm rambling a little, so I'll stop rambling and just say that I don't know how to suspend my disbelief enough to think that the good folks over that are representing the Democratic Party this year are going to do anything different given the opportunity than they did the last time we tried to fix this shit. And so I don't know what to say except maybe those Democrats could just go fuck away and we could get a whole new party that's, waiting in the wings to rise to power and represent the actual people. Because this system sucks. This system ain't working. And we're repeating the same mistakes, beating our heads against the wall. I love you, Tim Black. Thank you for everything you do. And I will hang up now and listen.
Hey, thank you, Sean, man. I appreciate you, brother. And wow. I understand this point totally. If the Democratic Party was in power, what do we get? House and Senate for 2 years, what do we get? What do we get? We got a Republican plan from the Heritage Foundation. We got Romney Care with Obama's name on it. That's his legacy. Let's be really, really clear. Obamacare is Romney Care. Remember Mitt, the guy who lost? Obama went and got his plan. That's what the Democrats gave you. Now, if you're an African-American, black person in this country, and you voted for Obama, this is a real kick in the balls right here. Real kick in the ovaries, ladies. Don't want to leave you out. Obama spent all his capital, political capital, on getting pushed Medicare for all. Well, Medicare for Choice. No, he didn't, did he? He spent all his political capital on DACA, on women's rights, the Louis Ledbetter Act, gay marriage, right? All good things. Don't get me wrong. All good things. And on this crap ACA that he said, well, I got no more capital for you black guys. You black folks, I got nothing for you. Let me let a few of you out of jail without changing any laws, though. So we just fill it back up. But we're not going to change the laws. We'll let a few people out of jail, and I'll look good. Hey, didn't I have I had Beyonce up here. Hey, Michelle. Jay-Z. Come on over. Hey, I'm Barack Obama. I approve this message. And sold us up the river for a healthcare plan that we could have got from Mitt Romney. He sold us out for a healthcare plan we would have got if he lost. It's the same plan Mitt Romney had in place in Massachusetts, right? Or where was he from? Utah or where Mitt is now? Man, I'm trying to tell you, you can't make this stuff up. So what Sean is saying, my good friend Sean, what Sean is saying is how can we trust him? Bro, I'm telling you, you got to go with your gut, right? And as I was trying to explain the other night, I don't see Bernie with a whole bunch of, for a while, one of my brothers, right, my older brother, not that much older, but a little bit older. There you go, CJ. He's a little bit older than me, CJ. He sold cars. For a long time, sold cars, car salesman, car manager, finance manager, been in every job in the car salesman, automobile sales industry, right? Bad brother, could sell anything, right? Type of brother could sell snow to Eskimos, right? Sell sunlight to people living in the desert. The brother was bad. He is bad. This brother ain't got nothing on what the Democratic Party sold us. I'm trying to tell you, man. Anyway, I'm going to go to the next call. I'm not going to monopolize it. We'll come back and put a pin in it. We'll come back to it. The point of the matter is we ended up with a plan that we could have got even if the Democrats lost. And the Democratic Party had the will. They had the means. They didn't have the will. And I think that Bernie Sanders will fight for what we want. I don't think here goes the analogy for the cars. Now I think about it. I'm sorry. The analogy for the cars, he don't put a lot of window dressing on the car. See, some people come in to buy a truck. Say you come in to buy a truck. If you come in to buy a truck, a pickup truck, there's some people who are buying pickup trucks for what they look like on the outside. It's called candy coating. It's called window dressing. And then sometimes you got a good old boy who'll come through the door. He don't care about none of that. For all he cares, you could rip off the flaps off the back and you could get rid of your candy coat paint and your undercarriage paint or whatever the hell you're trying to sell me. What's the engine, son? What's the powertrain, son? So that's what we call a real buyer. That's the real deal. He don't care about what this got Sirius FM. Get off my bumper. Are you wasting my time, boy? You wasting my time. That's what he thinks. I'm here to waste my time. He's talking to me about Sirius FM channels. How much can I tow? What's my tow capacity? Candy boy. See, what I'm trying to tell you is I see Bernie Sanders as one of those guys that don't have time for the candy coating, no time for the exterior. He's all about the interior, what it is under the hood. And that's why I like Bernie. That's what it is, man. And I just believe that guy will do everything to try to get it done because he's stubborn. He ain't got time to play with you. He's been fighting for the same thing for 40 years. He ain't all switching up. He ain't going to lead you to believe one thing, then pull the rug out, change it up. He ain't flying under. He not doing that thing they do in the auto racing. How many people ever watch NASCAR? And you know what you do, right? Like you hang on the corner under the armpit of the leader. That way, when the backdraft comes, they sort of like slingshot you. So you can save fuel because you can hang on the wing of the leader, and when he hits those turns, that backdraft hits you, and it slingshots you a little bit. See, Bernie doesn't have to do that. He never does that. He's not looking for slingshot. He's not slingshot candidate. There's some people that rise on their own. And there's some people that use other people to rise. Bernie's a self-riser. That's what I like about him. You can disagree. So when Sean says, Tim, what is it? Why can't we believe this party? I don't believe parties. I don't believe the Democratic Party. I don't believe the Republican Party. And even the Green Party got some stuff with it, Johnson. I've heard some stuff about the Green Party. All parties got issues. But individuals, there's some individuals that I trust. So to answer Sean's question, valid as it is, only way I can answer it is on a case-by-case basis, my brother. I love you. I'm glad you're better. Welcome back. Thank you. I'm going to go to the next call, guys. I got a 912 number. Thank you for your patience. 912, you're live. Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hi, Tim Black. This is Antonio from Atlanta.
What's up, Antonio? I see you in the comment section. Hey, I see you in the comment section. What's your comment, brother?
Okay, cool. Happy Friday to you, and sorry to hear about you and your wife's friend. Condolences to her.
Thank you, brother.
But I just wanted to, on the Medicare For All issue, agree 100% with what you were saying about Bernie being true to his core about he's fighting for Medicare For All. He's not trying to make anything up. He just put it all in the bill. It's there, and I think the Tulsi supporters are also defending their candidate, which is okay. We choose to support our candidates based on how we perceive their policies. But the dangerous thing about what I've seen go on, some dynamics between our two groups, where we should be unified in pushing progressivism, where the differences between Bernie and Tulsi come out, there's hostility from either side and trying to say, hey, my candidate's better here. And then in boosting their candidate, they proceed to kind of bash the other one, which, I think is this hostility is just perpetuated. It's in this issue and then some foreign policy gripes that Tulsi supporters have with Bernie. But the main thing I see it as is that I think Tulsi is trying to appeal to the more independent libertarian in the word of choice, although I don't really agree with her interpretation. Like Nina Turner was saying, the choice of what, really? I see where someone would argue that, but I don't agree with that whole concept of choice. But maybe that's why Tulsi is using Medicare Choice to kind of have that libertarian appeal of saying, hey, the government's not forcing this plan onto you. But I don't know. That's just my theory about that. But the main thing I'm concerned with, again, is like this, like you talked about, this mischaracterization sometimes when, as Bernie supporters, we give our opinion on why we think Bernie's Medicare for All is better, or, you know, why we still believe in it. And then sometimes in our discussion of why, it gets, you know, into personal attacks. And I don't like to see that when, you know, we've been united on multiple other issues of progressivism. So, that's all I have to say about that, Tim Black. I don't like it when, legitimate policy discussions and chances to differentiate between Tulsi and Bernie, because they are different. But I think when, you know, I don't know how to fix it, but that hostility that just pops up, you know, but I agree with everything you were saying. I'm glad you showed that Nina Turner clip. I mean, that was great. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Hey, thank you, Antonio.
For hearing me out.
Hey, no problem, man. Thank you for calling up, man. I appreciate it. I'll speak to that just my thoughts, man. I think you said that well. Look, like I see, that's the thing. I never tell people who to vote for. I tell you who I'm voting for, who I believe is the right candidate. But when I talk about Amy Klobuchar, or Kamala Harris, or Cory Booker, or Beto O'Rourke, or Pete Buttigieg, or whoever it is, I'm just giving my analysis of what they're presenting and what the issue is. Even when I talk about Trump, I mean, I'm just giving you my analysis of what I think is going on. But everyone makes their own mind up about what they believe in and what they want to support, right? And I'm not here to demonize anyone's choice. I don't need to bash Tulsi to support Bernie. I wish other people felt the same way. But I tell you, there's some differences here, and I think it's really just natural. Now, it's not natural for everyone, right? We got some people who are bad actors or people who are incentivized to do what they do. Remember, guys, this cycle's different. There was only one progressive candidate in the Democratic race in 2016. One. Really easy to be united when you got one person to be behind, or vote for Jill Stein, or stay home. Right? So what's going on is natural. So this is the part where we're just talking about regular folks. We're not talking about people who making money, who are hired, or whatever these people are. And there's a lot of them. We got the lady, what's her name? Simone Sanders and Zelina Maxwell. We got a lot of other people. They're not the only ones. These people that are paid to say things, whose careers are enmeshed in the DNC or whatever, okay? But regular folks and activists only had one candidate last cycle. His name was Bernie Sanders, and he was running against the devil pretty much. He was running against everything wrong with the Democratic Party embodied in Hillary Clinton. So bad she lost to a game show host with a seedy past, who didn't care, was unapologetic, who dropped a few truth bombs that you or I could have dropped any time. It wasn't that sophisticated a campaign. People called it 4D chess. Anybody could call out the Clinton Foundation. Where did he get all of his info? From Steve Bannon. What did Steve Bannon have? A website. And on that website, what do you think they did? They watched progressives call out BS, and then they went and regurgitated it. So just let me wrap it up and just go back to the next call and just say, I feel you, Antonio, man. I do. But I think it's all natural. It's all natural. People feel strongly for their candidate, whoever they is, and I agree with you on that point. It's not that we're uniquely bad people or vicious or petty or any of that. It's that we have options, and some of those options are kind of close in some ways and far apart in other ways. That's going to create contention amongst roommates, right? And I get it. But as this race continues, as it begins to thin, I think you'll see more unity. What I think the determining factor will be is when it's won, but progressive left in this race. Some people will argue there's only one left now. I'm going to go to the next call. 405. 405, you're live, Freedom Friday.
Hello.
What's your name? Hey, what's your name? What's your comment?
Hello, Mr. Black. This is Cosmo Vinegar calling once again from Stillwater, Oklahoma.
All right, Cosmo, what's on your mind, sir?
I don't think that this is going to end in the clean harmonization that you're hoping for. I'm genuinely concerned at this point that what we are looking at is the beginnings of a serious ideological split in the progressive movement. And considering that the progressive movement is already kind of a fragile alliance between social democrats, socialists, and various other working party movements to try and get some concession, at least some concession, if not an outright capitulation of our of the power of capital on our society. The more and more fractious the movement becomes, the more and more difficult it's going to be in order to affect the changes that we want to see in the world. And I'll be bluntly honest.
Please do.
If we can't even agree, to at least maintain cohesion and keep our focus on where our enemies are, and not for even just one election cycle. If we can't even unify to focus on our common enemies or our common objectives for more than a month or a year, let's just give it a year, much less another 10 or 12, 20 that may be needed in order to truly affect the changes we need.
All right, so Cosmo believes we're too splintered. Let's just be blunt, man. Hey, why didn't everyone know that Tulsi Gabbard was for Medicare Choice, not Medicare For All? We're pretty late in the game to know this. Where's the accountability that that's something that should have been known? It's kind of important. Don't tell me it's the same. I support Medicare For All, but I'm a Medicare for Choice. That's not the same thing. Well, it's the same thing because it uses Medicare For All like tendencies. No, it's not the same thing because for all would be all. Get it? For all. It's in the name, man. So why come that couldn't have been crystal clear? Why isn't that crystal clear? People like me because I'm a straight shooter. When I'm shooting it straight. Have you been shot straight to? Have you been given the straight shoot, the straight dip, the straight reel, the straight dope? If 6 months into it, you just now finding out that you're candidates for Medicare Choice? We went over this yesterday. I covered this in an earlier video a month ago, looking at small donor donations and whose candidates, the candidates' donations and who they came from. Bernie Sanders supporters give to two people only, other than Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, and closely followed by Tulsi Gabbard. Now, that wouldn't be a big deal, but Bernie has 1 million individual donors. 1 million, over 1 million individual donors. He had more donors than Barack Obama back in 2016. He set a record, and this year he exceeded that record. He set a record back in 2016, shattering Obama's record, and in 2019 he passes his own record, reaches that 1 million mark before he reached it in 2016, meaning he's even more popular now than he was in 2016. Even with a more crowded field. I understand people like candidates that they like. Last time out, we had one guy. Now we had 22 people on the stage. we're not as united. We got people who like Andrew Yang for whatever reason. They do. We got people who like Tulsi Gabbard for whatever reason. They do. We got people who like Bernie Sanders for whatever reason. They do. We got some people that like Elizabeth Warren for whatever reason. They do. Last time we had one, what were you, a big Jim Webb fan? You big Lincoln Chafee supporter here or something? He dropped out and did he even go to Iowa? So we had one guy talking about one guy on the populist left talking about bread and butter issues, and we had a woman saying, hey, it's my turn. And people were like, what the hell? And then they looked behind her. So, Cosmo, I feel you, man. I just think we just need to just cut to the chase on it, man. Let's just keep it 100, right? I'm not going to knock anybody for who they vote for, but I'm also not going to pretend that there's something going on here that even put us in this situation. Are we going to act we got any street sense at all? We going to act like this is not like this was an accident that you didn't know these things? Are we going to act like it was not a plan for this to go this far with people not knowing where people stood, and then all of a sudden, and then when you say, hey, I didn't know that, they blame you for not knowing. When it was very easy right there to say, hey, I don't support Medicare for All. I have my own plan. Let it fall, let the bricks fall where they may. That added to the division. That ain't my fault. That ain't your fault. That ain't the movement's fault. That's not Democratic Socialists of America's fault. That's not some other left organization's fault. It's the people themselves' fault. Now, we can't call it real and keep it real, then what we going to have here? All right, I'm going to go to the next call, man. I appreciate your patience. 470. 470, you're live, Freedom Friday.
Tim Black, how are you doing this evening?
Dave, what's up, man?
I had to get my weekly dose of Freedom Friday. This is Dave from Stone Mountain, Georgia. This shit's just going to be crazy, ain't it? There's no other way to put it. This is just the beginning. Wow, it's just going to get crazier and crazier. So let me jump right in. First, I just wanted to comment on the Elizabeth Warren, the lady Emily Sussman or whatever, talking about how you're sexist if you don't vote for Warren. Just wow. It's not even worth spending time on it almost because she is sexist. Bernie Sanders is the leader of the progressive movement. Everything that Elizabeth Warren is running on is because Bernie Sanders laid the framework and challenged the establishment in 2016 and paved the way for anybody else to run on it and not be seen as crazy. He has a climate change plan second to none. It's more expensive than everybody else's plan put together. It is comprehensive in a way that nobody else is. His criminal justice reform bill is second to none. So really, if you want to vote for Elizabeth Warren over the leader of the progressive movement just because she's a woman, you're sexist, not us, period. So that's it. Look, I called about the Medicare For All thing because that's really the major thing going on here. And me and you talked about the education system before, Tim, how it was specifically designed to hold black people down. That's why they did it through property taxes. If you do it through property taxes, then you're going to get poor black people just coming out of the civil rights movement with no money, having no money for schools. And then so white people are going to have more money and the better schools. And that wasn't good enough for rich white people. They went ahead and made private schools on top of that keep sucking more and more money off of the public education. So now you got these poor black people who started with shitty schools that have gotten better, but not much. And then you got poor white people as well and others. And that's why there's so much of a positive movement to rein in the rich, because everybody's feeling the pinch of the rich.
That's right.
But the point is that education system was fine at first, other than the racial problem. It was the envy of the world. No other country had public school for everyone, where everybody could learn to read and write and stuff.
Wow.
But the rich seized control of it and just kept making it harder and harder for normal people to get a quality education. And so that's, you can't have, and you can see why you can't have school for profit, because people are always going to inch their way in it and make it more unfair and more unfair. A private system is not answer to the people and will always be unfair. And that's great for McDonald's, but not for education.
Yep.
And education needs to be done publicly so everybody has an equal shot. And that's what Medicare for All is. You can't have a two-tier system. I mean, it will not work properly if you have all these rich people who have money saying, no, I'm not going to pay taxes for Medicare for All. I'm going to opt out and buy private insurance. It will create a two-tier system, same as we got now. You'll have poor people all pitching in to have Medicare for All, and you have rich people having it all. Medicare for All only works with everybody opted in. There is no way to have one that supports private insurance. Will have to work completely free of it. No private interests need to be involved in Medicare for All at all, unless you're a doctor or a nurse or someone who supplies doctors and nurses, the people actually doing the work. And so while, maybe Tulsi Gabbard just means that if you want private insurance on top of Medicare for All, which you wouldn't need it, that's one thing. But there is no way to let people opt out. Medicare for All is like Social Security. If you had people who had money opting out, Social Security would fail because the people with all the money would opt out. So the folks that get sick or mentally ill that can't work and pitch in, those people would not be contributing to the system. And, of course, it would fail. So I don't really know where she's coming from here, but it's not going to happen with private insurance. It's like freedom, Tim. You're not equal, and you can't sell freedom. I can't say, well, the people that got money, you can get freedom. You poor people can F off. You're screwed. And education and healthcare are the same tier with freedom. There is no way to have an equal chance. You are not born equal. If you can't access education and healthcare, they're too fundamental. So that's it, Tim. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you, man. Wow. Thank you for putting that pretty simple and stressing the point here. Now, what about the opt-in? Some people say, it's not an opt-in. You're already in. You don't have to buy in or opt in. You're already in it. But people can opt out. All right, I'm going to go to the next call. 210. You're live on Freedom Friday, 210. What's your name? What's your comment?
My name is a girl with no name in Texas.
Uh-oh.
I am, I'm actually recovering right now from a major surgery, but I'm a union girl, and I had to pay, and I have really, really good government insurance, but I had to pay a real hefty deductible, and I just want to say, I watch you all the time. As soon as I was out of recovery, I was watching you. I was really pissed off that they censored you. So if anybody's watching, please make sure and subscribe and like and share the Tim.
Thank you.
But I just wanted to say, I have to put in my 2 cents on everybody that regarding the public option choice, all this other BS. I'm in Texas. We don't have Medicaid expansion. I do something for a living that has a lot to do with this, and this is why I'm so passionate about this. This is my litmus test for all candidates is Medicare for All. I was with Bernie back in 2013 with his American Health Securities Act. He started this in 2013, by the way, his first bill. I was so ready to help him roll that out. What it means when you don't have Medicaid expansion is people die, suffering. I mean, they go in the emergency room, they get turned out, and they die. They literally go behind a CVS and Walgreens, go in the field, they lay down, they suffer, and they die. And it's horrible. It's horrible to tell people, no, we can't help you. And I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. So what an option means is we're going to cave to the insurance companies. We're going to give them a little bit. We're going to give them an inch. That started with Nixon. Nixon decided, okay, you guys can make a little profit. They weren't supposed to make a profit. Now, you know, they took decades. They did it inch by inch so that you didn't notice it. And by the time you knew it, they were making astronomical figures. I mean, go back to the Nixon era. That's when it all started. And now all of a sudden they're making a fortune. So that is my litmus test. If you look at the option, choices, whatever you want to call it, Beto sold us out during our Medicare For All march here in San Antonio. He said he was for Medicare For All. He wasn't. Lancaster is the same way. That's why they're not doing so great in Texas. Bernie's doing great in Texas. We love him in Texas because people are freaking dying in Texas. So any state that you have that doesn't have Medicaid expansion, believe me, they're for Bernie. And it's because of that litmus test. But going back to the option and choice or anything like that, you have to look at the FICA and how it's funded. I don't care how much money they plan on dumping into it. You know, Biden says, oh, I'm going to dump this much into it. And Warren says, I'm going to dump this much into it. Well, yeah, of course you've got to dump money into it to get it started, but you have got to raise FICA. FICA is a natural entity in the funding of Medicare. If without FICA, it'll collapse. FICA right now is 1.45. If you don't raise it without, and you can't just guesstimate. You can't just say, well, so many people might jump in, so many people might jump off. I mean, I'm in a union. I've got great insurance. I would jump on that shit in a second, in a New York minute. I mean, they can FICA me all they want. I'd rather do that and have my union fight for something else than for health care benefits. They can FICA me and my family all they want. I don't even care if it's more. They can FICA me. If it means everybody in this country has health care, I would do it. And to me, there is only one candidate in the field right now that does what this country needs, the biggest fraud. And of course, there's other corporations that are fraudulent, but this is the biggest joke in the world. It's the biggest joke. It's a laughing stock that we're paying ridiculous prices for drugs that people aren't getting, that they're dying from. We're killing our own citizens. We're letting them die and suffer. And it's just horrible. And then the other thing I wanted to do is to just thank you for spreading the word and just always being candid and honest and critical when you need to be, and I really appreciate that, Mr. Tim Black. You're awesome.
Well, thank you, no girl, or girl with no name. I appreciate you so much from Texas. I'm going to be in Nashville, Tennessee in a couple weeks, maybe 4 weeks, almost a month from now. And anybody, I'm going to put out some stuff. Wish I was coming to Texas, by the way. But thank you so much. I needed to hear that. It's been tough. You know, I've seen a couple people pass recently that I know if they would have had if they'd had the right coverage, if they didn't have the copays, the deductibles, I got a feeling that they would still be here. And I'm sure, I think it's something that you don't really pay attention to until you start getting a little bit older and you kind of slow down a little bit and you start really paying attention to what's happening around you. I think when you're younger, you're kind of not as aware unless a parent dies and you kind of go through the process. My dad right now, my stepdad I've known, my only dad I've ever really known since I was 2, he can't even quit his job because of his medical coverage. He needs a medication due to a cancer that he has to keep working, and he's almost 70. He is 70. Because that's the way he can pay for this exorbitant amount of pharmaceuticals. The price of his medication keeps him working. So, and, you know, I worked places I had fantastic coverage, sister. But that was because it was a big corporation. I worked for Verizon for a time. They had the best. Back when it was Bell Atlantic, oh, mwah, oh, mwah, them, oh, woo. We paid nothing. We had such a big pool of workers. But the people across the street who worked for someone else didn't have it. We need one system where everybody has great coverage. Are you really in a developed country if you don't cover all your people? That's a question. That's not rhetorical. That's a real question. Are you truly in a developed country if you don't cover all your citizens with health care? If all your citizens don't get health care, are you in a developed country? And if you are still incarcerating, if you have 5% of the world's population but house 20% of the world's prisoners, are you really in a developed country? Are you really in a free country? And if you're a prisoner, due to the 13th Amendment, you are a slave legally. Are you truly in a democracy? Are you truly free? And are you in a developed country? Those are questions you need to ask yourself, ask those around you, think about them. Thank you. Girl with no name.